Hello and welcome to a cricket video, and today we're going to be talking through the IPL, which is going to start very soon. The 2021 season feels like the IPL is literally just finished, but it's come around very quickly. And joined by Jay today, and we're going to be talking through the key teams and the key players. So, hi Jay, how are you doing? You looking forward to the IPL?
Yeah, hi Dev, all good on this Easter holiday. Yeah, looking forward to it, 100%. I'm hoping it's like the last IPL back in September. I think all the teams are, much improved as well. Don't you think?
Yeah, a lot of these players have had a lot of experience. Well, the key players, I suppose, are the English players and the Indian players. They seem to be, a lot of them seem to be in good form with, the recent series in the England series, that those players would have had good experience there. So yeah, it should be interesting. A lot of good players to look out for, and let's get started with Mumbai Indians to start things off. Mumbai Indians are obviously the champions, and they they seem to win it all the time, don't they, Mumbai Indians? Whole range of good Indian players from Mumbai Indians, isn't it? I think that's where they seem to get their success, because the local Indians that play for them are very good, talented players. And all round, they're just a good team, aren't they? With the bat and ball, it's hard to pinpoint any weaknesses with Mumbai. I think for me, the big standout is Arjun Tendulkar. He's signed up, isn't he? So that should be interesting to see how he goes if he gets in the team. But what do you make of Mumbai? What's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I think that team is more or less the same as the one that actually won it. Just about 5 months ago. So definitely the favourites again, as they are every single year. And yeah, I too am hoping for Arjun Tendulkar to make an appearance. That'd be quite a good entertainment, isn't it? And yeah, I'm sure all the Indian fans and all the other fans across the globe will appreciate that. And just touching back onto your previous point about Mumbai Indians just having the best crop of like Indian players in their team, I thoroughly agree. And players like Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav as the backbone in Mumbai Indian batting. Yeah, they will probably get into the final again.
Yeah, they're one of the favourites, aren't they? I think you're right, and they always seem to be, as you say. And I think they're actually very well led by Rohit Sharma. I think he's a very good captain for them, because he's quite calm under pressure, and I think he's very experienced as well, which helps. Quinton de Kock as well, he's a good player, isn't he? And I think he's going to stand out for them. And Kieron Pollard too, I think he's another big player for them, who was big in the recent one as well, recent season. And he just seems to be a Mumbai Indian at heart, really. When you think of him, you just think of him more than anything else. You think of him as Mumbai Indian. But yeah, weaknesses wise, do you think they have any weaknesses, or not really?
Not really, but I would like to see Quinton de Kock, a bit better, opening with Rohit Sharma. To be honest, I've not really been thoroughly impressed by him at all. While he's been at Mumbai. So I think that might be the only weakness. I mean, you say it's a weakness, but then you got Kishan, Yadav, and Hardik Pandya and Pollard, and the rest to come, right? So, but for me, I think if Quinton de Kock was to bat better, and maybe bowling wise, I can't really fault the bowling. Deepak Chahar, he's good, but let's see this season. I think he didn't perform too well against England recently, so that'll be quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say maybe the spin bowling could be an area, and I think they have Piyush Chawla in the squad, don't they, as well, Mumbai? So maybe he's a reasonable player, but I think that could be one area from my perspective, the spin bowling. I think it doesn't seem to be all that menacing compared to some of the other teams. So if I had to pinpoint a weakness, I'd say the spin bowling. But overall, definite favourites, aren't they? And let's move on to our next team, RCB, as they are known as. Well, Royal Challengers Bangalore is the full name. Very surprising team, isn't it? That every time they play, they seem to have all the talent on paper, but they just can't get over the finishing line. They never make it. to the kind of victory stage, and it is baffling. What's your kind of immediate thoughts on RCB then?
Yeah, it's just the same as each year, isn't it? I think they probably will struggle to get out of the group stage. So, I think AB de Villiers is maybe past it a little bit. Virat Kohli, I mean, he's been captain for so long. I mean, I would have just, I would have just been tempted to give the captaincy to somebody else for once, really. But I think Bangalore actually are one of the weakest teams in the tournament.
Yeah, interesting that, because a lot of people would say they're very strong on paper, and I feel as though they have some big standout names, which will probably get them past the group stage. And I actually think that it's not the batting that's the most impressive. I think the bowling's quite good, because I think they have Siraj, they have Navdeep Saini, Adam Zampa's not bad as well. So I think the bowling's very underrated for them. I think their bowling is actually quite good. And the batting is a bit overrated, maybe, you think, with de Villiers getting on, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn Maxwell's in the squad as well, isn't he? But yeah, de Villiers will probably, I'll say he's getting on a bit, but last season he did quite well, didn't he? I think he averaged over 40 to be honest in that tournament. So, but I think it's just too much over reliance, really. And when you've got Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, I don't think there's anybody else really that's going to be sort of, causing fear to any other bowling attack. Do you?
I agree with that, actually. I think those two are the big standouts. I think Devdutt Padikkal, he's not bad. I think he was quite good last season, wasn't he? And Sachin Baby, they have Sachin Baby in the squad as well. He's a renowned player for them. But yeah, it's scratching their shores a bit with the batting. Other than that, I just think the bowling is the most impressive for them, which people might be surprised to hear. But I think those two quick bowlers, Saini and Siraj, I think they should be opening the bowling for RCB. And I think if they do well, it'll be difficult for a lot of teams to score runs against them. And Chahal's in the squad, isn't he, as well, for RCB? But I'm not all that impressed with him these days, to be honest. I think he goes for a lot of runs, doesn't he? And he showed that against the England series. He struggled. And I just think a lot of teams out there, they're just going to get on top of him and score a lot of runs against him. Is that a fair comment, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Chow's been on the scene for a long time, hasn't he? And he's never been that fantastic. I don't think he's. I mean, he did get over 20 wickets there, didn't he, last season? But
yeah,
I think it might have been found out. Like people like Padikkal, for example. Although he did do really well last season, more teams have had time to research him now, haven't they? They know more about him. So, I think this season is the season where he needs to perform and therefore be sort of regarded as a good player, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. So yeah, interesting, isn't it? RCB, maybe on paper they seem reasonable, but actually, like we've gone through it now, maybe not the favourites to win it then. And they may struggle to make it past the group stage, but if they did, I don't think it would be too surprising. But yeah, let's move on to Punjab then. So this is a interesting story for Punjab, because they were a team that had a lot of money going into the auction this time around, and they seem to have spent it reasonably well, haven't they? I think they bought some good players. Jai Richardson is one that stands out for me, but the strength there is in the batting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to get David Malan is I don't even know if it was necessary for Punjab considering all the batsmen they had. But I mean, yeah, number one in the world. So yeah, that batting lineup should really be posting 200 plus each match.
Yeah.
I mean, Rahul, Agarwal, Chris Gale, Nicholas Pura, and David Malan. Yeah, it's quite ridiculous, isn't it? Then Jai Richardson. Yeah, he's not too bad, is he? He's not too bad, but I wouldn't say he's not very outstanding. I think the bowling attack is a little bit weak, isn't it? you got Shami. You do have Shami, and you do have Chris Jordan, but yeah, Chris Jordan will probably go around the park, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Punjab may just do a bit of an England, to be honest, in this IPL, in the sense that they might win the toss and bowl first and try and chase down any score because the batting is so strong, and that might be a reasonable strategy for them, I think, because the bowling does seem a bit thin, and I think the lower order batting, bowling all-rounders seem a bit thin. I know they have Moises and Weeks, he's not a bad player, is he? But just seems a bit light, doesn't it? They need someone like someone who's very explosive with the bat. Someone like Stoinis. I think he would have been good for Punjab. They need someone like that, don't they?
Yeah, Stoinis definitely would have been a good player.
Yeah.
Even a Washington Sundar,
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true. Someone like that, bat and ball. They have a few new players like Shah Rukh Khan. He's a new signing, isn't he, Shah Rukh Khan? Sarfaraz Khan. Sarfaraz Khan's a new signing. Don't know much about him.
I think I've seen him play for. He used to play for Bangalore, if I'm not mistaken. And he was okay. But he's just, as you just mentioned previously, he's not outstanding, is he? He's not an outstanding player. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. So Sarfaraz Khan, and there's Fabian Allen as well. He seems to be in the squad there. Another kind of new name. But let's see, I suppose.
Yeah, Fabian Allen, Riley, Meredith. Quite a few new players on the scene, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So that's Punjab. So what do you think about Punjab then? You think they have a chance of getting past the group stage, or?
Punjab, that is a very good question. It's just that bowling. I'm not convinced by the bowling attack. So I personally think they'll finish 5th this season.
Yeah, they always seem to be mid-table, don't they? I'm going to say that I wouldn't be too surprised if they did make it into that top 4 position. But I think you're right. I think they'll probably fall a bit short. But they're not the weakest team, I don't think. I think they're a reasonable team this time around because of the batting. And let's move on to Chennai, because this is the team that generally has done well throughout the tournament, isn't it, Chennai? But last season they did pretty badly. They struggled, didn't they? And they didn't get any momentum. I'm still kind of puzzled as to why that happened, but they did struggle.
I think Suresh Raina coming back, I think that's going to be the key for Chennai's success. I think he literally has played every single IPL game bar 1 or 2 for important family reasons. So yeah, I say that, but Suresh Raina is not even an international player for India anymore, is he? And but I think Raina, I think Dhoni. This might be Dhoni's probably last IPL season. So I think Chennai will probably. I think they'll fall outside the top 4. Actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either, to be honest. They just seem to be. They have some good players, but it just feels like the names aren't all that kind of well connected. I think they have Pujara in the squad, which is interesting, isn't it? Because he's a bit of a test player, isn't he? But he's saying he's up for the T20 format. But for me, he just feels like maybe a little bit too much of a test player to be coming into the squad. And I think that transition will be quite big if he did get into the team. And the bowling seems a bit light as well, in my view. They have some good kind of slow bowlers, don't they? Like Mitchell Santner and Jadeja and Moeen Ali. But other than that, bowling-wise, I don't see there being all that much menace there.
Yeah, Sam Curran, the superstar of England. He could, potentially do well this season. I'm sure all our Indian fans and all our other fans around the world would agree with that.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a big player for Chennai, actually, Sam Curran. And even with the bat as well, because he's quite important with the bat, Sam Curran, as well as the bowl. So I think he's going to have a good role for them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll be opening too much. I mean, I'll be surprised if he's opening for them. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's in a way, it's quite, good to see different teams now being, competing in the top four and the top two of the IPL rather than it just used to be Chennai and Mumbai. So, you know, it's sort of a welcome change, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a good point because all these teams we talked about so far, I think it's reasonable for any of these to get into the final actually, because we talked about 4 teams now, including Chennai. And the other thing for Chennai that I was going to mention is some of the batting is actually quite good because we talked a bit about Raina and Dhoni, but I think some of the young players like Gaikwad, I think he's quite a good player, and Duplessis around as well. So not bad. Raidu's in the squad as well.
Yeah, it's quite good, but I think with Chennai it's more about maybe like momentum and chemistry and things like that, because they seem to kept them chopping and changing last season for obvious reasons, but I can still see that happening this season, can't you? A bit of chopping and changing, not having the best set 11.
It feels like it, yeah. That's what I mean. The players, there seems to be a few kind of random names in there, and so I do agree with that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they made it into the top 4. But anyway, that's Chennai out of the way. Let's have a look at Delhi Capitals, who have a very strong team, I think. Very, very strong. And it's going to be interesting because Rishabh Pant's going to be the main man because Shreyas Iyer's injured, isn't he, for this? Or is he the whole season? Or I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it's the whole season, yes.
Yeah, that's a shame. But anyway, they still seem to have a good team. What's your thoughts on Delhi?
Yep, still, really good, isn't it? He just shows Io, not only his batting but his leadership skills, isn't it? So that's going to hinder Delhi to some extent, but nonetheless, great team, isn't it? Great bowlers as well. And yeah, as you said, the man in form himself, Rishabh Pant. So let's see. I'm sure he'll have a great season as well.
Yeah, exceptional team. I think Delhi are the best team, actually, to be honest, on paper. I think they're probably even stronger than Mumbai because the names are all superstar names. Even the Indian names are all superstar Indian names, like Ashwin and Prithvi Shaw. So they've got all bases covered, haven't they, Delhi?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar Dhawan, Steve Smith, Chris Woakes, Umesh Yadav, Rabada, Ishant Sharma, Axar Patel, Sam Billings, Tom Curran. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the problem for Delhi is knowing their best 11, isn't it? Because they have so many choices, and they only have 4 choices international to have in their team.
Yeah, I know. That's yeah. I can see 3 that will probably be there. Actually, I can see Rabada, Nortje, Steve Smith, and Stoinis personally. But yeah, leaving out people like Hetmeyer, Chris Woakes, and Billings, it's going to be a tough decision, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have had. I'd probably have Woakes in the team personally because I think he balances it out quite nicely, the team. But in terms of spinners, other than Ashwin, there's not really much there, is there? There's Amit Mishra, but he's a bit kind of gone beyond his best, hasn't he?
Yeah, you got Axar Patel as well.
No, yeah.
There. So yeah, I think Axar Patel and Ashwin. That's like India's spinners, isn't it? So
basically, they're
it's like you can't really complain, to be honest. And I'm sure even if they only picked one out of the 2 and chose like 3 or 4 fast bowlers, I'm sure they'd probably have the same effect, isn't it? So,
gosh, yeah, that's insane. So their team is literally, even without Shreyas Iyer, it's still like the top team, really, isn't it? To beat.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we did say that last season, albeit.
Yeah.
But obviously now they've had one more season to gel together. So yeah, I can see them getting into probably the final.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think they're probably going to be the finalists, and they may well be the favourites to win it. Actually, I think. But yeah, so that's Delhi out of the way. Next is Rajasthan Royals. What's our thoughts on Rajasthan then?
Yeah, Rajasthan's a very strong team as well, isn't it? They're batting, especially with the likes of Josh Butler, Ben Stokes, Sanju Samson. It's just their bowling, which is a bit, lackluster, isn't it? You got Jofra Archer there, but it doesn't seem like they've improved much on last season, to be honest.
Yeah, and Archer's got injury issues, I think, as well, hasn't he? I think I'm not sure if he's out or how long he's out for, but he's not going to be available for all the games, I don't think. And in terms of the bowlers, you're right. They have some decent ones, but there's no kind of name there that stands out as incredible. They have people like Chris Morris, who's handy, I suppose, isn't he, Chris Morris? But who else? Mustafiz Rahim. Shivam Dubey, they have him, but I don't think he's not kind of the big name of Indian cricket, is he, these days, Shivam Dubey? He's been tried a few times in the squad, but he's not a massive kind of big man name player, is he? Who else? Yeah, they have Ben Stokes, obviously.
Yeah. Ben Stokes. Even Liam Livingstone is meant to be quite a good player as well, isn't he? David Miller's on form in the recent series against Pakistan. So I think there's going to be a bit of over reliance on 2 or 3 of the players, even people like Rahul Tewatia as well. So Rajasthan, I think they'd be lucky to get into the top 4, don't you?
Yeah, I think they're kind of similar to Punjab Kings, to be honest, in terms of quality there. They have some good batsmen, but the bowling seems a little bit light. I think they'll probably be kind of that 5th or mid-table kind of position, isn't it? 5th, 6th, or maybe 4th if they're lucky, around that. That's that. I don't think there's much more to talk about with Rajasthan. Let's move on to Kolkata Knight Riders. Let's see. This should be an interesting team. Interesting players to talk about. What's your thoughts on Kolkata? Any immediate thoughts?
Quite a good team, isn't it? Still, the likes of Owen Morgan, Andre Russell, Shubman Gill. Yeah, it's not a bad team. Nitish Rana, I did like Nitish Rana last season. Shakib Al Hassan, Ben Cutting. It's not a bad team. I think they will actually do well. How about yourself?
I think they have good bowlers, KKR, very good bowlers. I think the batting is a little bit, maybe at the top of the order, is a little bit weak. Because with Shubman Gill at the top, I think they don't seem to have all that much there. They have a lot of good young Indian bowlers like Nagakoti, and they have Mavi as well, Shubman Mavi. He's a good player, isn't he? And just some other players like Pat Cummins. So I quite like KKR. I think they have a good balanced team, but I think the batting is a little bit slim. They remind me a little bit of a New Zealand, if we're comparing these teams to international teams, they remind me a little bit of a good New Zealand team. So some good bowlers, batting's a little bit unknown names, but they will get some runs. They'll probably kind of finish there or thereabouts, I think. You know what I mean? Saqib Al Hassan's around. He's not bad, is he?
Yeah, exactly. I think Morgan's captaincy as well. To be honest, I think that'd be pivotal. And you got the spinners as well. Harbhajan Singh. You got Kuldeep Yadav. I don't know what happened to him against England, but he got absolutely dispatched, isn't it? But but I think he'll come good. Sunderland Orion say. Yeah, it's got Sunderland Orion can bat as well. So it's quite nice. I like the mix to it.
Yeah, you're right. I think the mix is very good. Yeah, exactly. Very true. So where do you think they'll finish, KKR?
I think they will finish in the top four. I think they'll finish fourth.
All right, that's interesting. Yeah, I think they'll be in that position with Pune. Sorry, not Pune. Rajasthan. I think it'll be Rajasthan, Punjab, and KKR in that kind of mid-table position. So they'll be like fourth, fifth, sixth. I think all those teams.
Yeah.
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 I think they're all about the same standard. These teams, good teams, but they do have some weaknesses. And last but not least, let's move on to Sunrisers Hyderabad, who have a very interesting squad because it's very reliant on two players at the top of the order, really, isn't it? And one or two good bowlers. What's your thoughts on these guys?
Yep. Having Jason Roy and Johnny Best at the top of the order, yeah, that could get quite messy quite quickly as well. So yeah, if they did tee off, yeah, you can see Sunrisers scoring big totals and having even David Warner, isn't it? David Warner, Kane Williamson, the batting is actually quite good. Manish Pandey is quite a reliable player. Then obviously they got the superstar bowler in Rashid Khan in there. So yeah, I do like to watch Hyderabad these days, but yeah, I can't really see them getting too far, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think they'll make it into the top four because I think they're just a bit too top heavy for me. Because at the end of the day, they can only have 4 international players, can't they? And if they have Williamson, Warner, Roy, like you say, they're good players, but they need some good Indian batsmen. And I just don't. I see like the Indians is a bit inexperienced there in the batting. Even with the bowling as well, there's not all that much, is there? There's Natarajan, but I'm not all that convinced at the moment with him. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, saying the sort of Indian players are quite weak, unfortunately, isn't it? Natarajan, definitely not convinced, and I think it probably probably will get dispatched in 2020. He might bowl the odd Yorker there, but he probably get found out quite quickly. So, and he's quite slow as well. So yeah.
They do have Khalil Ahmed. He's quite a good bowler, I think.
Yeah, he's actually not bad. Yeah, he's not bad. Jason Holder's a good bowler, but as you say, that is he going to get picked? Is he going to get picked, right?
He might not get picked, even though he's like the main player in West Indies.
Yeah, exactly. Personally, I would just go for all that. I would just go for Williamson, Warner, Best, and Roy. But then, but actually, it's a bit tough, isn't it, for them? I mean, Rashid Khan as well. You're not going to drop him, are you? So,
nah.
Yeah, I think they've made a bit of a hash in there. The selection, they might have wanted to go for like a superstar bowler then rather than 4 superstar batsmen, right?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the balance of the team is so much not, it's a lot worse than KKR, I think, in my view. I think KKR's probably got, and Delhi probably, they too have the best balance teams. So you can see the balance. You have good bowlers, good batsmen, good range of bowlers, and Hyderabad just don't seem to have that, I think. So yeah, they're not gonna make it in the top 4, I don't think, unless they get very lucky and results go their way. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Very surprised.
Yeah, so that's it. That's our review of all these teams. Should be a good tournament. So, what do you think, like in terms of top 4? Then, if you had to pick top 4 out of these,
top 4, I would go for Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and this is in no particular order, and possibly Bangalore.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, close to me. I'd say Delhi is guaranteed, and I would say Mumbai, and I think that Punjab and Rajasthan, I think they'll make it into the top 4 as well. But let's see. Should be interesting. It's going to be very close, I think. That's our kind of overall summary, isn't it? Because a lot of these teams are very similar in terms of quality and depth. There's only one or two that are probably a little bit weaker, but overall they seem to be of a good strength and quality. So should be good viewing. And that's it for today's video. Thanks all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And make sure you watch the IPL. It's going to be a very interesting tournament to watch. And keep following our channel as well, because we have plenty of videos to come. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.